Hello there, Virgo, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today I'm doing your October love reading. We'll take a look at the overall energies in your romantic love life with the oracle cards, and then we'll move to the tarot for some more details. And if you're enjoying the content that I create or you're resonating with the message, I would really appreciate it if you would consider like, sharing, or subscribing. Okay, let's get into your reading, Virgo. Well, I hope all the retrogrades, we have 4 planets in retrograde right now. They all will be going direct by October 18th, but I hope you're doing well during the retrograde season. So let's take a look at your overall energy. Okay, I can't remember. Somebody had this. It could have been maybe a Libra or Aquarius. In between worlds. You may have ended one relationship and trying to step into another relationship, or, just kind of that in between time, in between relationships. But what you have to realize is that you're stepping out of something that was sad and definitely towards something that's more colorful. And then we also have all that glitters. Now, the all that glitters is kind of a trigger to make sure that you are, taking a look at, are you wearing kind of like a mask, or is somebody that you're dealing with wearing a mask? And it's a mask to really kind of like help protect ourselves. Sometimes we put on a mask, we put on the happy face, even though deep down inside we're not very happy, right? And it's kind of like something like that, but it's at the same time, it's like really taking a look. If you're kind of resonating with that a little bit, it's about understanding that, taking a look at why are you wearing the mask? What are you really trying to hide, from the world? So if you went through a breakup recently and you're really sad, like you might be telling people, oh, it's fine, it's for the best or something like that. But what is it that, how are you truly feeling? Like, are you taking the time to really process how you truly feel about the breakup? The other thing about this card is that if you recently broke up with somebody and they're acting really happy, and you're kind of like, how could they move on so quickly, right? They may have already moved on, and you're kind of like, why can't I move on that fast? A lot of times what you have to realize is that's just a mask. They possibly are still missing you, Virgo. Like life isn't as happy maybe as they're portraying it to be. So let's take a look at the soulmate cards. See what we have here. Split energy, creativity, perception, ascend. Okay, so on ascend it says expansion, evolution, universal intelligence, stay connected to spirit. I feel like that is kind of like a really big message for you. Underneath there we have goals and sacred journey. And then under that, a fresh start. Like, I feel like you're coming towards the end of the cycle. You may be looking at somebody else, perhaps a person that you are separated from, right? And they may have jumped from this world into this world really quickly. And you're like, why is it taking me so much longer? Well, the truth is that the slower we go, the better we're building the foundation for a brighter future. Right? You don't want to go too slow, but there is something about taking your time to actually heal from this past breakup. If you go from here to here, if you go from 0 to 60 overnight, you're really not doing the work. You're not doing the processing, the reflecting. But I really get a sense, Virgo, that you are. We also have split energy, options, unfocused, multitasking, decide what you really want. Yeah, that's why you have to do this process slow. You can't just jump into the next relationship, because you have to first decide, okay, what happened in that past relationship? And, what do I want to do differently in the next relationship? A lot of times we repeat the same kind of relationships over and over again. But really, if you're truly reflecting, you're not going to be repeating the same thing over and over again. And then we have creativity. And, I recently read something about how being creative, and especially, using the palms of our hands in our creativity, like in pottery or painting or, gardening, something where you're tactile, where you're really, your hands are really, especially your palms, are part of the process, is really good for the heart chakra. Because the palms and your heart chakra are really connected. So look at that, when we're trying to go through these difficult transitions, just making sure that you are spending time doing those things that you really just enjoy doing, just because you enjoy doing them, not because, I think I've shared before, I take pottery classes and I just do pottery just because I enjoy pottery. I make little pots or something, but it's kind of like, I don't go into it thinking, oh, I've got to make something really beautiful for my house or a gift or something. I just kind of go in there and just play so that the child in me can just play and create and not have this expectation put on it. Perception, red flags, delusion, perspective, see through your own false beliefs. And, that kind of comes back to this. There's something that you may be telling yourself right now, and we're going to go to the tarot to get some more details, but there could be something that you're telling yourself about your romantic love life. And you're kind of saying this either to yourself or you're saying it to your friends, but it's a false belief. It's not how you really truly feel. Okay, so, oh, I'm totally over that person, right? When you're really not. Or, something like that. So let's take a look at your present energy right now. 9 of Pentacles, single and mingle. This is called the single lady card. Gender doesn't matter. But, working on yourself, working on your independence. Now, sometimes we're working on our career, right? We're working on rebuilding our life, trying to look good, maybe dating a little bit. All of that's good. But what we're really not doing is taking a look at how are we feeling, So let's take a look at your area of resistance or your obstacle this month. Judgment. Whoa. Really having to, the Judgment card is the awakening card. Really getting clear with yourself, judging what it is that, about your beliefs. Like there's a lot of stuff about beliefs here. This can also be, the reuniting card. So we'll see, we're going to clarify. But I get a sense that it's really taking a look at your beliefs about love and judging them. It's like really judging them. What do you feel about what is a long-term committed relationship for you? Is that 20 years or is that until the end of time? Getting really clear about what it is that you want as far as a family. Do you want children? Maybe you don't want children. If you do want children, how many? What are you thinking that how you would like to raise them? Of course, all those things can change as we age, right? Or get into situations. But it's kind of like it really kind of getting clear with yourself about what it is. And then taking the mask off and being willing to kind of like stand up for our beliefs in the real world. Okay, so let's take a look at your advice. 7 of Cups. Getting clear, once again, picking out the star that you want to focus on. You may feel, we had the scattered, the split energy, options, unfocused, multitasking, decide what you really want. I really get the sense that it's kind of come to this time where you have to really decide what you want. The only way you can progress into, this person is single and likes being single. If your heart is calling you to also have somebody else in your life, to have a love relationship, then you got to move out of this energy, right? You have to move out of, oh, I'm single and I'm happy, You could be actually saying I'm single and I'm happy, but that's your false belief. Like, underneath you really want to be with somebody. And it's about getting crystal clear. The star is wish upon a star, like putting it out there. What star do you want? What option? you know um getting, once again, kind of judging what is it that you really want, and then pointing to it and staying focused on it, like not changing your mind every every third Thursday. Time to change my mind. I can totally relate to that. I'm a Gemini. I change my mind every day. Okay, so let's go ahead to the outcome. The star, yeah, true healing. Wishing upon that star and then getting the star. Yeah, it's kind of like it's there. It's almost like you can reach out and touch it, right? But it's like you're not really sure which star to touch. And then the Hermit. This is your energy, stepping into your own energy, stepping into who you really are, stepping into your own belief systems around love and what that means to you, and kind of owning it. And when you do that, you're going to end the pain of the past. You're going to fill yourself up with love and not the pain. It's the pain of something from the past that is preventing you from stepping into your true, authentic self. You could be, once again, single and just telling everybody, I'm fine with this. I really am. I'm fine with this. And down deep inside your heart is like, no, I really want a love relationship, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and clarify this Nine of Pentacles. We have the Page of Cups, the Nine of Cups, the Nine. Okay, yeah, you're going in a new direction. Okay, so I think that this is so hilarious. Thank you, angels. They're doing a great job. Okay, so this is, yeah, I'm single and independent and free, and I don't need anybody else in my life. And this is bring on the love, right? I mean, it's like two opposites. It's kind of like, okay, it's time to mesh these together. You have to give up something in this in order to bring in this. That message is clear. It's time to judge. You don't want to judge. It's kind of like time to judge. Which door do you want? Do you want door number one, where you're independent, you're free, right? But you don't have door number two, that's love. And it's really about, you may have this mentality, I can't have both. Like, if I fall in love, then I give up all of my independence and freedom. But that's not really true, right? It's just your perception, right? It's your false belief. If I'm in a relationship, then I can't do what I want to do. Well, what is it, Virgo, that you want to do that you can't do when you're in a relationship? Well, I can't take my pottery class on Thursday nights because, I'll be in a relationship. Well, why not? Maybe your love is also going to want to take photography lessons on Thursday nights. Like, so what, right? It's like you don't have to give up everything. You're going in a new direction of your beliefs about love. Like, I feel like you're not in a relationship. Right now, I think for most of you, you're single. And it's kind of like, okay, now wait a minute. I've tried this single thing, and now I want to go try to bring in some love and practice, right? Practice mingling the idea of, I can still keep parts of my life that I really like and still also have a relationship. Okay, so, that's a part of that is you stepping into your power. Okay, we had the Hermit card on the bottom. You stepping into your power and realizing, like, say, you want time to be with your friends. Like, every Wednesday you get together and you do something with your friends. And it's like, well, yeah, but, I've had other friends. And then when they get into a relationship, they drop out of our Wednesday night group, right? And it's just about you stepping into the energy of, it's only one night a week. I can keep that group. Or, maybe I go twice a month instead of every week. Something like that. It's about having conversations with the person that you're going to be in a connection with, instead of just saying, well, I'm not going to have anybody in my life because I know that that'll be a problem. Well, it might not be a problem. So you're kind of dismissing the whole idea of love over something that may not be true at all. Okay, so let's take a look at the Judgment card. Yeah. Look at this. I like this. The Three of Swords. You have healed. I feel like a lot of you have been wearing this mask, telling everybody, oh, I'm really happy being single. You've been wearing this mask because you just needed some time to heal your broken heart. Well, guess what? Your heart, you're over the heartbreak. So now you are ready for love. Like, you may have been wanting to get a sign from the universe. Am I really ready for love? Well, I think you're going to get it. Look at this. Now, I think it's interesting that this is also your obstacle, right? You have Judgment. It's about making a big decision. Big decision. You're trying not to make this decision, but it's making a big decision about, and I think it's interesting that it's these two. Now, of course, we could say that this is kind of your energy, Virgo, because it's the Pentacles. But the Pentacles also, the Queen of Pentacles represents, the spouse, the wife card. This is the wife card. And it doesn't really matter gender or whatever. It's just that spouse, committed relationship, nurturing the home and hearth. That is the Queen of Pentacles energy. The Queen of Swords energy is kind of like getting really crystal clear and cutting out everything that doesn't meet the criteria. And yet, here we have the Two of Swords. Like, you have to make a decision. There's a big decision to make here. I feel like for some of you, you may have to make a decision about your career. What you may have to cut out of your career, or you're worried about having to cut out of your career. Like, you feel like something about getting, let's get one more card for the Queen of Swords and what is the Queen of Pentacles representing, please? The Ten of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is represented by the Knight of Wands. Ooh, Sun card on the bottom. Joy and happiness. Okay, so oh my goodness. And then Two of Cups underneath that with the Seven of Swords. Like, you're holding back. You're not allowing that energy to come in. You're having difficulty. You think your career or something about your work is going to come to an end if you bring in love, or you have the mentality that all love partners are just players. Something about, oh, no, happy home ends and the people that you attract are always players. Like, you feel this is your obstacle. This is your beliefs that you are having to take a different look at. You think that either love never lasts, or that all, people that you may be attracted to are players. And that everybody out there is a player, and therefore love will never last. And there's something about, you have to take another look at that. You have to change that perspective. You have to really get into the energy of realizing there's a lot of fish in the sea. You've been picking the wrong fish. And it's kind of like you have to get a little bit more discerning in who you're picking. It's safe to go out there and start fishing again. Let's put it that way, right? It's safe to fish. It's just that you have to get really focused on what it is in the fish that you want to catch. You know, if you're going out there and you want a fish that you can eat, let's say you're really fishing, right? And you want to go and catch a fish that you can eat. You know, you may go trying to fish for a trout or a flounder or a grouper, right? You wouldn't try to go out and fish for, you know, like a puffer fish or a minnow, because, you know, you'd have to have a lot of minnows to get a meal out, you know. And it's kind of like you've just been picking, you've been thinking, okay, this is the message. You've been thinking all the stars are the same, but all the stars aren't the same. And you've just been kind of like picking, you know, this split energy, unfocused. You're just like, oh yeah, I'll take that one. Oh, well, that one didn't work. I'll take this one, you know. And it's almost like grasping at straws. I feel like it's the energy of grasping at straws. And it's kind of like, no, your advice here is get really focused about what star you want, because you're going to be able to bring it in, because look at what the outcome is, the star card. The star you choose is the star you get. Really nice energy. It's all about changing your perspective. It really is. Okay, so for this, yeah, Eight of Pentacles. There's something about work here. I do feel like there is something about work. Look at this, the Hierophant. It moves into a long-term committed relationship. There's something here about, you know, still having to deal with juggling the idea that marriage or long-term committed relationships bring disappointment. Okay? It's changing that. It's saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to throw that belief system up into the air and I'm leaving it behind. It's like you have to leave that energy behind. And you have to get really focused on what it is. And then don't get sidetracked, you know. Well, you know, like say you have a good friend. You get really focused about the person that you want to start dating, right? I mean, you may not know that person or whatever, but you get kind of like focused on what it is that you're looking for in a long-term committed relationship. And then you have a friend that says, oh, hey, my cousin's in from town, and, you know, and then you say, oh, okay, well, tell me a little bit about them, you know, and then you're listening and you're like, no, that, and then you just say to your friend, no, thank you. I'm staying focused. I'm not telling the universe, because whatever you put your time and energy into is what you get more of. I'm not putting my time and energy into anybody that could be a player or could be just somebody I'm not going to be interested in, right? If it's a setup. Now, if it's kind of like, oh, yeah, well, I'll be glad to, you know, come over and we can hang out or whatever. But it's kind of like, no, I'm not getting involved in anybody that it's not going to go anywhere, right? I'm not going to waste my time. That's the that's the energy. Don't waste your time on being unfocused. Which is kind of like, you know, I mean, I know some of you are going to be like, yeah, well, you can't get too picky. I get that, but I feel, Virgo, that the message here is that maybe you're just casting the net, and just whatever fish falls into the net, that's what I'm going to eat for dinner. But not all fish are really meant to be eaten, okay, or taste good. So it's kind of like, well, if you want to attract a flounder, there's a certain type of bait you're going to use, right? There's actually a whole different process of catching flounder than there is a grouper. So it's kind of like, depending on what it is that you're trying to fish for, you're going to use a different, you know, strategy in trying to catch that fish. I fish, so I know. All right, so let's go to the star, Chariot. Eight of Wands, 10 of Wands, and the three. Yes, you're definitely over this heartbreak. I think some of you are just kind of like, yeah, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for love yet. But you are. You're going to move you're going to move forward very quickly. You're taking action. This star comes in, and you're going to put down the burdens. You're finally going to put down these burdens and be able to move on to, something that's really good. I feel like you're also going to put down the burdens of this belief system that you have about love. Really interesting. Okay, pay attention to the red flags. Heart-to-heart conversation. Stay optimistic. Codependency. You could have had codependency in previous relationships. I feel like a lot of you have done a lot of inner work. You've probably kind of, know some of the signs of codependency, taking a look at the red flags when you start, you pick out a star, you go out with the star, you're looking for the red flags. You're not just going to be like, oh yeah, being, kind of careless about where you put your time and energy when it comes to meeting people. Having heart-to-heart conversations, asking those questions when you go out on a date. It's kind of like sometimes it is an interview, but sometimes it's about having those heart-to-heart conversations, and somebody can say something and you're like, now wait a minute, what do you mean about that? And then it's kind of like, oh my goodness, yeah, I gotta go. We've all been there, right? And it's kind of like there's definitely somebody for everybody, right? But it's like sometimes if somebody says something and it just like cuts at your core beliefs, and you're kind of like, okay, that is, no way, I'm not, that's not what I'm signing up for. Then you don't spend any more time or energy on that person or that relationship. And then it's stay optimistic about your love life. It is about keeping those vibrations high, realizing that, if you don't want to be single anymore, that what you have to do is kind of put it out there to the universe. Hey, I don't want to be single anymore. Okay, so what does that mean? What do you have to change about what you're doing right now so that you aren't single anymore? Well, it probably, if I said, if you go to a dating expert and you said, okay, what do I have to do so I'm not single anymore? They'd say, oh, well, what do you do all day? Well, I sit on my couch and I watch TV and I stay in my pajamas. I'm exaggerating. Virgo, I know you don't do that. But it's kind of like they would say, well, first of all, take a shower, put on some real clothes and walk out the door. At least get out of the house, right? It's kind of like you have to put yourself. Once again, you have to go fishing. It's about going fishing. That's what they're saying. You have to put your fishing clothes on. And you can't fish in the middle of the mall parking lot, right? There's no fish there. You have to go. You have to pretend you're a fisherman. You are fishing for fish. And I have to go to a lake or a stream or an ocean to find fish. They don't walk around on the land. Okay, and here's your creativity oracle card. Timing. If you are in the creative flow, you feel everything flowing together in divine order. And I do like that. We had creativity here again, inspiration, productivity, creation, bring out the greatness within. Creativity, just being creative, and once again, not putting any parameters on it or expectations on your creativity. Just, doing it for the total joy of it, right? Will help so much with, your inner child, healing wounds. It's a great way to do it. And, a lot of times we feel like that's a waste of time. No, anytime we spend on ourselves is not a waste of time. I went to lunch with a good friend, and she said that her daughter and I both like to do DIY projects, and I have the power tools and all of that, and I really enjoy it, and so does her daughter. And My friend was like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. And I said, well, when I'm doing DIY, it's like the hours, like I don't even know what, and sometimes how long I've been doing it. I can forget to eat. I can, I just get so lost in it. And she was like, yeah, I don't get it. Right. But that's because that's not her thing. She has something else. And it's really about, stepping into what is it that you enjoy? What do you get lost in? And then doing more of that, just getting kind of lost in it, because when you're lost in it, then you're connecting with yourself. Okay, and here is your angel message card. Prayer. Dear guardian angel, help me to dissolve past guilt or regret. Help me to see that all is always in perfect and divine order. Help me to let go of the fear that I project on my future. Help me to live fully within each precious moment and feel your eternal love within and around me. Help me to realize and fulfill my true potential. Thank you. Yeah, and I definitely like this one because it's about not choosing, what fish based on just like, I just got to have fish. It's kind of like choosing the type of star that you really want to have, getting really focused on what it is that you want out of a long-term committed relationship, and then just really staying in that lane and only putting your energy into that type of person. All right, well, Virgo, I hope you enjoyed this message. I really did enjoy doing it for you. And if you did resonate with it, I would really appreciate it if you would consider sharing, or subscribing. And I wish you much love and light in this situation and all your situations. Bye for now.